The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Brianna Aldridge and Christy Scales. It is 8 in the morning, ladies. Wake up!
Happy
Wake
Friday.
up!
Here we
Happy
go.
Friday.
Here we go.
I like that. The here we go. Can you
Here we
do
go.
a Dak
Here
impression?
we go. Christy heard it longer. She probably does a little better.
Absolutely. How y'all doing?
Hey, I'm excited. Chicago is one of my favorite cities to
Really?
travel to, regardless of football.
Yeah.
But certainly playing at Soldier Field and some good memories there. And I'm thinking it might be a little more high scoring than some people are thinking this weekend, just with the. Looking at the injuries in the secondary for the Bears, and I know that there's a certain panic level in Cowboys Nation about the Cowboys secondary and the big plays given up to Russell Wilson and the Giants in Week 2. Well, if the panic level is 3 among Cowboys Nation, it might be 33 with the Bears with some of their injury situations. So I think this might be a lot of through the air and big plays on Sunday.
I have that feeling too a little bit. I don't have a lot of confidence in either one of these defenses, to be honest, but I'm excited to see what the Cowboys offense do, and I don't think anyone should sleep on what Caleb Williams can do. And I'm excited to go to Chicago. This is the first time I've gone not in the winter. I've only been in December and January, and it was very miserable. I'd never been to Soldier Field, so I'm also excited for that. I know Christy can attest to what that stadium is like.
I'm just glad it's September because we've had some, and Chris Beam, our producer, he's nodding his head. We've had some brutal Thursday night games there in December over the past 10, 12 years. So the -7 wind chill at kickoff on one of those. But there is a chance for rain during the day. It's a 60% chance of rain on Sunday there in the Windy City. Wind shouldn't be too bad at all. But the rain is mostly for earlier in the day. This is a 3:25 kickoff Central on Sunday. So the field may be wet. It is a natural grass field. Hopefully most of the precipitation will be done by the time we kick off.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. I want to dive deeper into, the matchups, favorable matchups, and things like that as the show goes on. But the Cowboys right now are underdogs, just slightly underdogs.
That's crazy.
How y'all feeling? Are y'all feeling confident? Just overall about this matchup, Christy, and I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think there could be a lot of points in this game. I'm feeling the more that you look at the Bears and see the situation they have with their defense, and Dennis Allen takes over as their new defensive coordinator. He's a local guy, Hurst Euless Bedford, a proud Texas Aggie, had a real good long career coaching in the NFL, of course, there in New Orleans, and he's defensive coordinator there long before taking over as head coach. But he's got injury situations there. They're working in new player, like a good player like Grady Jarrett coming over from Atlanta. He's dealing with a little bit of injury. So I think that they're kind of working into things defensively, just as Ben Johnson, of course, the hotshot head coaching candidate who takes over and gets Caleb Williams and has some really good weapons in the offense, like a Rome Odunze. I can't wait to see him personally, because I think that he's going to be one of the real studs in the NFL at wide receiver. Already is, but I think even more people are going to know his name in the next couple years. But I think it's one of these things where it's good where you're catching the Bears early in the season when they're trying to integrate the scheme and the players, with not just the young guys coming in, but the free agents coming in.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm glad Chrissy said that. It's so early in the season, and this is the part where teams are still trying. Every team, doesn't matter, the best of the best are still trying to figure things out. So this is the time where you can kind of jump on them and stack some of those early wins, because that makes your job a little bit easier when we're getting deeper in the season and we're talking playoffs and things like that. But definitely what Chrissy said about the offense, I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. I posted something yesterday. An article about what our predictions were for this game, and then a lot of the viewers were like, well, they were supposed to beat the Giants easily last week, and then I'm like, you got a point. But yeah, I think these defenses have some question marks. We heard from at Everpalooza yesterday about, you can't give up the big plays, and he really talked about the miscommunication, and they've been working on that this week, and how do you address miscommunication? How do you fix it in 1 week? And he talked about just that was the first time playing at AT&T Stadium, the loudness, and he talked about subtle things that you correct in not only in practice but in the meetings. Hand signals can be just a small fix that make the biggest difference. Obviously, you're working without Deron Bland, but I will say I like our injury report a lot better than Chicago. I was looking at the list yesterday, and their list is a lot longer. Like Christy said, they're working, especially when you're looking at the secondary. I don't really know what they're starting to reach a little bit down in the depth chart. When you're talking about a Nashawn Wright, who's looks like he's playing on the right side of the corner, in my mind, that's where Pickens is mostly lined up, and I kind of like that matchup already. And then CD, like I said yesterday, I think he's going to be on track for another 100-yard plus game. So yeah, I'm excited for these offenses to do, but the question mark is defense, and I feel like until the Cowboys can prove that they can be consistent, again, pass rush. I think even Eberflus made a little joke, is like, we brought Clowney in because we need a pass rush. I don't know if you guys heard, we need to improve that. So he sees it, we see it, right? So until the Cowboys can prove that they can do these things, I think the question going into most of these games, because Dak Prescott is playing so cleanly right now, is going to be, okay, what is the defense going to do this week? Because I think that's going to be the storyline for the Cowboys until they can figure some stuff out.
Yeah, and a good thing that Eberflus did also note was, some of the positives that they did do, right, in the run game. Obviously, the interception late with Donovan Wilson, but specifically with the team like the Bears that we've talked about it, thrive on explosive plays. They're tied for the second most in the NFL right now. I think that's really underrated. Schematically, though, how do you feel like the Bears will try to attack this Dallas schematically?
Well, they have a couple of really good tight ends. Cole Kmet's been around a few years, and he's close to breaking Mike Ditka's Bears records for catches by tight end. So he's a good player. But then they went ahead and invested their top pick in Colston Loveland, and he's actually listed as the starter. And so that's a good, usually the tight ends can be the reliable guys, right? The security blankets for a young quarterback like Caleb Williams, who's just in his second year. So it'll be interesting to see over the next couple years how that Williams to Loveland combination develops. But I think the issue with Caleb Williams is it's sort of like with Russell Wilson and Jalen Hurts, the Cowboys' first two opponents, is this is a guy who can really hurt you with his legs. And so they have had some issues with pass protection. I think left side of their line, that if the Cowboys pass rush is going to have a good week, it could be this week against this line. But at the same time, same thing we talked about last week, rush lane integrity and making sure that you don't let Caleb Williams slip out and hurt you with his leg and convert third downs and keep moving the chains. And while I mentioned Odunze, DJ Moore is kind of Mr. Reliable, the wide receiver, and he has put up some really good numbers in his career. And so they definitely have the weapons on offense. They have scored touchdowns on their opening drive each of their first two games. And of course, we know that opening drives are scripted. So Ben Johnson knows what he's doing in putting these plans together. And but once they get off script and they get further into the game and the defenses are making adjustments. How are the Bears reacting to that? So,
Yeah.
the other thing is against the Lions, where they just got demolished last week. That game really got away from them in the second half and got super, super lopsided. And the Bears were obviously, having to go away from the run game and heavy on the pass, trying to play catch up and the like. So it's kind of hard to look at that game, particularly the second half, and say this is what the Bears are trying to do because the circumstances had gotten out of whack. So, but yeah, this is. I just kind of see this game. I won't be surprised if it's like a tennis match or a ping pong match where you're just
Back and forth.
back and forth,
I love
back
tennis
and forth,
matches.
back and forth.
I don't know if you like
Not
it.
in that. I do love tennis matches. Keep going. My bad.
No, I feel the same. Honestly, when I look at this game, I don't think one team's going to dominate the other team. I don't think that's what's going to come down to. I think it's going to come down again to the fourth quarter. I'm hoping it's not going to go overtime, but I think it is going to come down to the final few possessions of this game, just because like I said, both these defenses are still trying to figure things out. If you're on the Chicago side, I think obviously the first thing you're going to do is want to shut down CeeDee Lamb. Okay, he's CeeDee Lamb. He's number 88. There's nothing much go there. But then you're also looking at George Pickens, who can, if you throw up that ball on a one-on-one, Pickens is going to come down with it 9 times out of 10. But then they have a situation where the Cowboys are running the ball pretty decently. I mean, they have Javonte Williams, who right now, 2 weeks in, is a top 10 running back. So if I'm then, I'm seeing that, okay, for the Cowboys to get comfortable throwing the ball downfield, they're obviously going to try to establish a run. Early in that, the run game has been Javonte Williams. And I think on the other side, going from Russell Wilson to Caleb Williams, when we talked about it, Christy just mentioned it, he can use his legs. And when I say he can use his legs, it's not just the scrambles. We saw a lot of that last week of Russell Wilson. Caleb Williams doesn't necessarily need to be scrambling to run, and I think that's the difference. When he sees green, he's comfortable enough. Again, week 1 for Chicago, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and who am I missing that actually ran the ball?
Swift.
Yes,
DeAndre Swift.
No other running back was involved in week 1, which I thought was interesting. So I think on the offensive side of things, Cowboys are more balanced. So that's where my confidence comes in on who's coming out victorious. But Eberflus talked about it. Schottenheimer talked about it. Sanborn, who's played with Caleb Williams, talked about it. This is a talented quarterback. Yes, he's in his sophomore year, but there's already been those slight adjustments that I've seen. And he is overall, if you take away a play I'm thinking of from that ugly game against the Lions, he's taking better care of the football.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And like last year in a rookie season where there were times he was under siege, let's be frank, I think he had only 6 interceptions. I mean, he has one of the best interception rates in the league. I think only Justin Herbert has through fewer interceptions, has a lower interception percentage through the first year plus of an NFL career. So Caleb Williams is very good at taking care of the ball. So that's one thing that works really well in his favor. But, it's all going to be about getting to the quarterback and affecting the quarterback, because the Cowboys did not do a good job of that in week 2 in affecting Russell Wilson and allowing him to deliver those deep passes that he just dropped in the bucket. So how much will Jadeveon Clowney play this week as part of the
question mark?
It is a question mark. So I don't have that answer yet. Is it going to be 10 to 20 plays? What's reasonable? Because you can report, Jadeveon can do all the workouts he's been doing, hoping to get back, but getting on the field and football shape is different from workout shape. So we'll see. We'll obviously get that information before kickoff on Sunday.
And I don't know how I don't know how you feel, Chrissy, but I think another thing to look at, this is going to be, out of what we saw in week 1 and week 2, who's on the other side in that front 4, this is going to be, I don't want to say easy, but it's not going to be what you saw in Philly, and it's not going to be the front 4 that Giants have.
Yeah, Montez Sweat, you got a huge contract, $96 million, $98 million, but don't know that they've gotten all that back in investment yet. Last week, their pass rush, they had only 4 quarterback hits. Sweat did have a sack, but it was negated by a penalty. So, and that hurt their injury-plagued secondary. The same thing that happened with the Cowboys last week, basically, giving up a lot of big plays in the pass game. Last week, the Bears against Detroit surrendered 10 explosive plays. Just those 10 explosive plays alone accounted for over 300 of the 500-plus yards surrendered in that game. So it was ugly. The other thing is no takeaways by that Bears defense. And, again, it really got away from them in the second half. They were really horrible in the red zone as well.
Yeah.
You know, of course, Detroit has so many great weapons, right?
Oh,
But the one thing I do want to talk about in the red zone, and that is where the Cowboys have really improved offensively, right? And Clayton Adams was talking about that yesterday. The Cowboys offensive coordinator, he was asked, you know, what do you think the difference is? And he was talking about the run game. And it's not just Javonte scoring touchdowns and Miles Sanders got his touchdown. It's just the ability to, you know, get some yards in there and make them respect the run, and it sets up the pass. So that I think that's a huge part of the success, scoring points in the red zone is just their ability to make the defense respect the run.
Yeah, and it's because, you know, Clayton Adams also mentioned Shoddy is a play caller that wants to stick to it. Like, even when things aren't going right in the run game, he's still going to be calling run plays, so defense is better respected. But now I want to take our first break. Up next, we're going to dive into the defensive X factors. We kind of touched on them offensively yesterday. I do want to break down defensive X factors going up against the Bears on a Sunday. We'll take our first break, and we'll be right back with more.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for us. If the men in your life bleed blue and silver like we do, I've found the perfect way to elevate their game day rituals. Gillette just released their best razor in Cowboys colors, and it is everything a Cowboys fan could want. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor combines his Cowboys pride with Gillette's best shave. And with 50% longer lasting blades, it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's best shave is also available as heated.
The countdown to game day starts with Rally Days presented by SeatGeek. Get behind-the-scenes look at AT&T Stadium, meet the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni, play games, win prizes, and more. Get your tickets at AT&TStadium.com/rallydays.
Woo! Go get your tickets.
Go get
It'll be a
them.
great experience. I promise you won't regret it. Seriously. All right.
Wake up!
Wow.
Wake up!
Always on time, Chris. Love it. All right, welcome back into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. Nicole Hutchison, Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales. And I do want to correct myself. The odds did flip Wednesday. That's crazy. Cowboys are favored by 1. We love to see that. So a lot more confidence now, right? Love it. All right, ladies, defensive X factors. On the defensive line, who has got to be the guy up against the Bears on Sunday? Who y'all got?
Who has to be the guy?
Yep.
I think they need more than one guy. I think that's the key here, right? I mean, I expect Kenny Clark to continue to do what he's doing. Like Chrissy said, we got Clowney now. I'm excited to see how he's involved, how many snaps he gets. But I think it's going to come to the edges. I mean, Matt Eberflus hit it on the head yesterday. Like, again, he sees what we see, right? Getting to the quarterback is a consistent non-factor. It's only 2 weeks, so I don't think anyone's flipping out. I know some people were throwing some numbers at him yesterday, and he was like, yeah, those don't really matter to me, when we're talking about statistics this weekend. There was some tidbits about Kyer and Trayvon, and, that's not what he's worried about. It is early, so I think the numbers is kind of funny, like the Cowboys being ranked 29th overall defense right now. It's 2 weeks in, and we saw what they did in week 2. The numbers are there for a reason. But I'm looking to see how this defense sets the edge. Can they set the edge? Can they get after the quarterback? And yeah, that's really what I'm looking at.
Have y'all been, I don't know about surprised is the word, but Sam Williams has been kind of quiet the first couple weeks.
I keep hearing that or not hearing.
And so I don't know. I just got kind of a feeling that this may be his. All right, here I am, kind of game.
Pop out.
Yeah,
he just has so much energy.
Yeah. And but again, remember we were talking about the rush lane integrity, right? So make sure you do your job and don't allow Williams to get outside. But I totally agree about the edge. But you mentioned Kenny Clark. I think Osa, getting some pressure up the middle is going to be interesting. And Solomon Thomas, by the way, I think the coaches would say that he had an outstanding game week 2 against the Giants. So if you're able to, get some pressure up the middle there when Thomas takes his turns. The other thing is we mentioned DeAndre Swift and the Bears run game. They shut that down, make it completely one-dimensional, because that's what happened by default to the Bears last week when they fell behind so badly to Detroit and were having to play catch-up and had to get away from the run game and rely on the pass. So, just have the interior of the line and the edges.
Keep it strong,
set the edges and then make Williams one-dimensional.
You brought up Solomon Thomas. I took a screenshot of this yesterday because I think he has been like a quiet name that hasn't been getting the credit because it's not like he's this big sack guy, right? And that's what I think when you look at defense, what you're looking at. But it says Solomon Thomas leads all defensive tackles with a run stop win rate of 71%. That's according to Next Gen Stats. So just a shout out to him. And I think, and everyone's kind of attested to it, but just having Kenny Clark come in and allowing Solomon Thomas to be focused on what Solomon Thomas can do. It's like a secret little weapon, but he's been a part of some big stops and big moments in both games, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's been a lot of not living up to the draft hype. I know he's bounced around a little bit, but I think he's found a home here.
He's back home. He's always literally been a Cowboy, Coppell High School Cowboy, literally 5 minutes away from Valley Ranch when we were there in Irving. But the way that they had been working the defensive line rotation is Osa and Kenny out there together, and then when they'll rotate, it'll be Jay Toia coming in with Solomon Thomas, and of course Toia is the rookie, and so not that it exclusively those two every time, but that's kind of mainly the rotation. But when you can have a trusted veteran like Thomas out there next to the young guy, it helps lift that guy as well, because communication is a real key. It's something that we're going to talk about in a little bit when we talk about the Cowboys offense and having Brock Hoffman come in as at center in place of Hoffman, but there's communication on the other side of the line as well. And so I think it's been a nice mix on the interior of the defensive line so far for the Cowboys.
Yeah, you talk about Solomon Thomas. He actually also leads the team in run stops with 4. That's according to Next Gen. But Sam Williams, we talk about him having a quiet year, also leads the team in QB pressures. So that's kind of impressive considering, he did come back from an ACL injury and they've been kind of working him back in. But I want to go into the linebackers now. Who has got to be your X factor?
Well, let's just say that Jack Sanborn it's a coming home for homecoming for Jack Sanborn, who's new to the Cowboys, but his first 3 NFL seasons were in Chicago, and he's actually a Chicago native, from a suburb of Chicago, and he did speak to the media yesterday, and after he was finished with the group interview, I'm like, well, I bet you're having to get a lot of tickets because you still have a lot of family coming, although they're going to be sitting in a different section. They'll be sitting in the, visiting section that the Bears set aside for the family and friends of the visiting players. But he's going to have, he said, almost 30 there coming for the game. But, that'll be fun for him. And, I think that Murray had a lot better game, don't you think?
I think everyone
in game
would
2
agree.
than in week 1. Maris Leafau, I think I was surprised. I thought he might get a little bit more play time in week 2 than he did. I believe that he went from 6 plays in week 1 to just 9 in week 2. But I think that if there's going to be some takeaways on Sunday, at the linebacker position, I hope it's Sanborn, just because he'll be in front of his family and a lot of fans who cheered for him when he was wearing the Bears colors.
Like it.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyes are on Jack Sanborn in general, just because we have seen him struggle a little bit when you're talking about being in coverage. And it's no secret that he's Matt Eberflus's guy, right? Like Chrissy just said, they had some time in Chicago, but I think at some point, if changes aren't made, like this is your leader. This is who all the faith is Eberflus is putting in to kind of run that group. And like Christy said, and what we saw in Maris as a rookie, and then what we have been seeing from him in training camp and preseason. And I think maybe we were playing into, like, why is he still on the field in preseason so much? Because he did get a lot of snaps, and I think that was surprising. And I think it's kind of like showing, I think Eberflus, I don't know if we talked about it a little bit yesterday. We don't know if it's a trust thing, but I think it's just, and we've heard players talk about all the time, like coaches have their guys, and Eberflus has his guy in Sanborn. But I think if there's some matches that end how it looked in week 2, where he's getting beat out pretty consistently there, I don't see how you keep Marist in this 6-9 snaps. I just don't. So I'm kind of looking at that, because I think if Sanborn has 1-2 more games where too many people are getting by him in the way that Eberflus is scheming him up to play, I think there's going to be some changes in there, because that's going to be kind of hard to get out of that question every week.
Yeah, which is kind of shocking to me that he's kind of having a, I'll say slow to start, so to speak, just because you look back at what Jack was able to do in Chicago, what became as one of their key defensive players there, almost 200 tackles, very disruptive, had a couple of forced fumbles and things like that, but he was also brought over here just because of his instincts as well. So that's kind of something that I've been looking at. I haven't really seen him be as instinctual as he was in Chicago. But ladies, let's move on to the secondary. Who's got to be your X factor?
Oh my God!
Anyway,
well, you just can't allow the big plays. These corners letting the guys get behind them. So that was a rough week, week 2. Trayvon, I'll go with Trayvon. Just got to play better than week 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Elon gave up some plays as well. So
yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I mean, honestly, between the corners and the communication between the safety and the corners, I think everybody could do something better. Like literally. The communication is terrible, but I guess I agree with Trayvon. He's your number 1 corner. He's the one who's supposed to be kind of, expected to lead this group, but he's also coming back from an injury. And he even said, I'll play it, but I didn't expect I was going to play as many snaps as I did. But when Deron Bland goes out and you're making all this change and you're bringing in Reddy Stewart, who at the time only played in 2 NFL games, that's the situation you're in. But it seems like there's confidence in Reddy to go back out there and play the nickel if he needs to. But I think overall, Christy, I'm kind of looking at Kyer. I know Trayvon is the number 1 guy, but I think if I'm looking at the tape, I'm going to pick on Kyer a little bit, because he's been the one to give up the big plays 2 weeks in a row. And I know, again, Eberflus talked about the stats, and I think it was Garrett who went in and said, he's leading in not a great category, giving up, the most in coverage there. But he was, he can tackle. I have faith in him. So we'll see. But I'm looking at him because I think if we're going in, again, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you're the guy that you're giving up, those long plays, the big plays that, potentially giving up more points. When your defense is struggling, I think you need to be able to tighten up a little bit. We know there's changes. Eberflus is working with what he's got. You trade your best defensive player a couple of days before. You're bringing in some new pieces, and Duran goes down. So he's a lot working with it. But I'm looking at I don't know about you guys, but I know Eberflus played it down, but he's going back to a place who didn't wait till the end of the season to let him go. They let him go
after Thanksgiving
in November. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, and you mentioned Reddy Stewart. Like Jack Sanborn, he's a former Bear, so he's going to want to show out. But here's the thing. We're concentrating on Eberflus, but there are 5 other coaches on this Cowboys staff that were with Eberflus for those 3 years in Chicago who they lost their jobs too when Eberflus and they were looking for jobs at the end of the season. And by the way, what do they coach? The defensive backfield. So Andre Curtis is the pass game coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys defense. And David Overstreet, who coaches the cornerbacks. Dave Gonzo, coached the Bears linebackers, and now he's the Cowboys linebackers coach. Our defensive line coach, Brian Bing.
One more.
He was the assistant defensive line coach. But wait, we're still going. Carlos Polk, who is the assistant special teams coach. So when I mention that, because Curtis and Overstreet in particular, Borgonzi, they know the offensive personnel for the Bears because they practiced against them every day. Now, you lose a little bit of some of the – I mean, you have the familiarity with their skill sets and everything. The way Ben Johnson, as new head coach and new play caller for the Lions, how he's using them, that's what's different. But these coaches I just mentioned have familiarity with Ben Johnson from his time with Detroit, different players, different chess pieces, but have a feel for how he likes to utilize his personnel. So I know we're all talking about Eberflus, but believe me, Andre Curtis, David Overstreet, all these guys, Gonzo.
Christy's like, wait, and the water boy. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I mean,
yeah.
So
there's a lot of familiarity.
And I know we got to get to break, but
That's another one.
hey, look on the other side. Remember everyone's favorite assistant for the Cowboys the past few seasons, Al Harris. Oh, guess who Al coaches for? Al is assistant head coach and defensive backs for the Bears. So he knows what to expect from the C.D. Lamb and Jake Ferguson and Jalen and Brian Flournoy and all those guys. And then Cannon Matthews, who helped with the defensive backs with Al Harris. Cannon Matthews went with Al to the Bears. So there's a lot of familiarity both ways there.
We are going to take our second break, but that's the nuggets from Christy Scales over there. We'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk after the break.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Are you a Cowboys superfan? The search is on for the 2025 Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan. Now through September 29th, nominate extraordinary NFL fans, dynamic duos, and game changers who rep the Cowboys with pride and turn every game day into an unforgettable adventure. You could be sent to Super Bowl 60. Enter to win at NFL.com/Fan of the Year today.
That's a dynamic duo.
Yes, it is.
What about trio? Can you enter? I guess you can't enter. We can't enter
Hey guys,
as a trio.
You guys are asking a lot of questions. The paper says dynamic duos.
Do you? It's Captain Morgan. Do you have to dress like a pirate and stand like?
Now I got a call. Excuse me, guys. I got
Yeah, ask some questions. We need more details for that. So we can
trios.
I'm screaming. You know who has a dynamic duo though?
Us. That Cowboys receiving
We're
corps?
4 people.
Oh, and I said the Cowboys. I'm in the Cowboys studio.
It's fine. It's great.
We're not here.
The Cowboys.
We're not.
There you go.
The Cowboys do. George Pickens. Hello. CeeDee Lamb. Dang. But no, I want to talk about the. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Favorable matchups. Wow, that's where I was going with that. Excuse me. Yeah, wide receiver, cornerback matchups. Which ones favor most for Dallas, for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I think that people are kind of focusing on Jalen Johnson, their two-time Pro Bowl corner, being on the injury list with the groin injury, and he's missed practice both days this week. But Kyler Gordon, who is a real good nickel cornerback, and he has a hamstring injury, and he missed practice Wednesday or Thursday, and that I think that could be just as big. And we know how much they put CD in the slot, so Pickens can even move in there. But I think that they may be able to hurt him, from inside, whoever they rotate in there, Cowboys.
Yeah, the secondary seems like a feast, waiting for an offense that's been gradually already in 2 weeks. We talked about them. They're like, we don't want to toot our own horn or get overly, amped up here, but it's kind of hard to deny, and it's exciting to be a part of this offense. I don't think I heard too many times last season it was exciting to be a part of this offense, even from CD, for obvious reasons there. But I'm also looking at the run game. I mean, Javonte Williams, we saw him get more those bursty runs as Schottenheimer talked about. You would just kind of see him in a pile of guys and then just start somehow to get out of it. And I think this is somewhere where you could take advantage from a D-line standpoint from the Chicago Bears, who we just talked about, are kind of just struggling overall up front. They don't have a guy. They don't have a guy right now. Like Sweat is supposed to be the guy, if you will, but I think really their tackle's similar to kind of what we going on, but I think if you're looking at their tackles versus Javonte Williams, I think it could be establishing the run early, and then you feast, and then they don't have an answer for either one.
Yeah, I think Grady Jarrett's trying to play through a little bit of nagging stuff, even though it was only week 2 and missed practice middle of the week, and so if he's not 100%, that's going to hurt the interior of their line for sure.
And even Tyler Guyton also was on the injury report for a shoulder injury, limited in practice. I believe that was Tuesday. He participated yesterday, but
and so did Kevontae Turpin, by the way.
That
By the way,
both
so.
that too. But just talking about, the Cowboys offensive line, because the success in the run game, the success in the pass game starts there. Is there any concerns at all about Tyler Guyton at all? Christy, have you heard anything?
No, I think that if you're full on Thursday,
Right.
that usually bodes well. So feeling better about that than I was Wednesday, that's for sure.
Good.
And I know you've been talking about Brock Hoffman yesterday as
Yes.
well, and
Yeah.
confidence with him in the middle of the line. So I don't know. I just think there are going to be a lot of points in the game. I don't know. Just,
it's gonna be a
so
good
many
time.
questions on the back end of both defenses.
Y'all ready for something?
Is it a game?
Absolutely.
Yay.
Y'all ready for the farmer's dog of the game?
Yeah. Who do you think? I think we should make Nicole go first because she always waits for us to give her.
Well, that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to navigate the conversation.
No, but we want to
Chrissy
hear
said-
from
Chrissy's
you.
the boss.
Who are
She said you
you?
go
Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, are we going to do offense, defense? I feel like we did. Did we do offense, defense?
I think we just picked one because I think I asked, does it have to be offense or defense? And you said either. But if you
Whichever
feel like
way
doing
you go,
one, if
we'll
you feel
go
like
on.
doing
Okay,
one of each.
I'm going to go defense first.
Okay.
Defense, I'm going to go. Dang, I didn't even think about this. That's crazy. I'm going to go, an edge rusher. And I'm going to go, I think I said Dante Fowler last week. I guess I'm going to go Sam Williams today. I'm going to go Sam Williams. We got to get pressure on the quarterback. That's something that's important for this team, obviously, to rattle Caleb Williams, get him uncomfortable, possibly force some takeaways. That's something that Eberflus has been wanting all season. They got it last week, 1, but the goal is 3. We need 3. I'm going to start there with Sam. Offensively, I'm going to go Kevontae Turpin. Mix things up. You can play him inside too, line him up in the slot. Obviously, we just talked about the banged up secondary that they have, 2 of their top corners out. Just talk about it. Yeah, Kevontae Turpin's going to be my farmer's dog of the game. Y'all ready?
Your dog.
Yeah. Roof, roof.
Defense, I'm going to start with Kenneth Murray just because I feel like he could hear his ears ringing when we were talking not so great about him week 1. And I just saw his name pop up on my timeline multiple times. Last game, he was making some big plays. He was kind of all over the place. And maybe his energy translate to the rest of that room because I think, he did make an impact in this one. And then offensively, I might have picked him last week. I think it's a little bit of a cheat code, but I got to go with CeeDee Lamb, guys. I'm sorry. This is going to be another 100-yard plus game for Mr. 88. I just think he's going to have Madden-like numbers, him and Dak. This is the defense to do it against. And the Lions can do it. I think our squad can do it. So
I agree. I think there'll be some numbers, and that's why I'll go with Dak. And he has just been on a burner these first 2 weeks, and I think that it can continue on Sunday. So offense, I'll go with Dak. Obvious, but that's all right.
I know. I'm like, mine's kind of easy.
On defense, I'll go back end, and we mentioned him, and it's a homecoming for him. I'll go Reddy Stewart because I think that they can get a pick or 2 this game.
You think Reddy gets a pick?
I think that I just want it to be him, just because former Bear going against his old team. So let's go with
wild.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, Cowboys take on the Bears on Sunday, 3:25 kickoff on Fox, but Christy Scales will be on the sidelines. Hello, make sure to tune in to her. She'll have all the latest
All the
insight,
scoops.
all the scoops, pregame,
Yep.
postgame, in-game, sideline game, all that, everything. Check her out. All right, that's a wrap for today's show. Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales, Nicole Hutchinson. We'll see y'all back here next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!